Hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to briefly explain that I realized I kind of reappeared out of nowhere after like 200 days or so of not posting anything. So I apologize for that. I'm pretty unpredictable because my state does change a lot. And like I said, there's been some shifts recently that allow me to speak more, I would say. Um, as in, before that, I was really struggling mentally. So as a result, I'm able to speak on more things that were kind of put on hold. So in this video, I want to talk about something a bit controversial, as most things are at my state. Um, and this is about, turning God into a spiritual business. So this is something a lot of teachers do in this world. Uh, some of them don't directly refer to God, but one way or another, it's about God, and some of them deliberately use God, right? And basically run this as like a spiritual business, like a ashram or some kind of online thing or retreats and all that. Like this has been largely normalized in our world. So why is it that my position is actually quite different? So my position is that I cannot be turning God into a business like most teachers are. And this has everything to do with someone's state and how much they understand God, first and foremost. So first of all, I will claim to you that God is about love and truth. So you have to kind of assume that to start and discover that for yourself if you want. But I'm claiming that that's what God is. And so, as a result of that, God understands equality. Because it would not be a loving God if it doesn't understand equality. So, basically, in the ultimate reality, like we're the same, the exact same, and we came from the exact same place, the exact same being. So, enlightenment and awakening, like this work, is about returning you back to that, your original self. To as much as we can, because we can't force you to do that, right? You would have to want to do this work. So what that means is, if people are to do this work and arrive, to where I am, what ends up happening is you're going to be identical to me, right? And we're going to be sharing basically the same self. So, so this is where it doesn't make any sense if I'm charging people money for this, because it would be like charging myself money, right? And it's like it would be like the collective money in the end. Like if let's say, okay, hypothetically, let's say 3 or 4 people get to where I am. I mean, that's if I'm lucky, right? Um, we would be the exact same being. So who's charging who money? Like, I understand, like, perhaps initially it makes some sense, but it doesn't make sense whatsoever in the long run. Because everyone would have to pull their weight if they're not, like, disabled or something. If they're healthy enough to work, then equality means that we would all have to find some kind of work to do for like, basic survival needs. Like, and also non-survival needs, you could say. That depends on your lifestyle, I guess. But I'm saying that equality, like, it wouldn't make sense for me to charge people money, like, in the long run, because we would be equals, right? Uh, what equality means is that we would all have some kind of work, like, outside of this, like, spiritual stuff. Because inequality would be putting myself on top, like, forever, and just like it's like almost like leeching off of my followers for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I would say most spiritual teachers do. They never get out of this. They just, because they have been successful, you could say, um, running this as a legitimate career or proper career, they just keep on doing it. Because people keep, I guess, giving them money, and not many people say these things or ask questions like this, right? Or they just move on. So there's always people giving them money, so they're able to, like, live off of this as a proper career. But it's not seen as very proper from my view, because again, equality means we all have to do pull our weight. So, if you're healthy enough to do so. So that can be like a job or a business you're running, like something that you're doing in the dream world that generates like an income. for yourself first and foremost, and if you have surplus, then maybe you would want to share that or not share that. I mean, I can't force people to share that, but I'm just saying, I hope what I'm saying makes sense, that if more people get to the same level as me, then it's an equal relationship. And an equal relationship means I cannot be leeching off of my followers. So I feel like this is a huge blind spot of most spiritual teachers, and nobody's questioning them about that. Almost nobody. It's been normalized in our society, and I think that's why almost nobody questions about this. So you can see how if I'm the only person or one of the few people questioning this, uh, I'm in the minority, right? And it's going to be like some kind of unpopular opinion. But truth happens to be unpopular. So, because of both love and understanding of what you really are, and understanding of equality, it would be a huge blind spot to, you know, keep putting myself up and above people, like when it comes to survival and, generating an income. Because unfortunately, no matter how awake you are, you still need some kind of income to live. So I hope what I'm saying makes sense. And so that's why, at the highest level, you can't just treat this as like a long-term career. Um, and this is actually what prevents these teachers from getting here. They don't even want to get here because of this. Like they much prefer to hold on to this career of theirs, so-called career anyway, that they're like living off of comfortably enough, I would say. So in some ways, I would say their followers are enabling this. Um, so because their followers are willing to do that, they see no problem. And so when someone like me comes out and says these things, I'm the one that's seen as like wrong, basically, because I'm in the minority. And so you can imagine, if you're already in a pretty comfortable position being a spiritual teacher, you're not going to want to listen to what I'm telling you. Because I'm telling you to go back to work, basically. Like find like a career in the dream, not being a spiritual teacher. Because that would be unequal. I can talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So because of awakening, I, changed career quite a few times. So right now I'm actually back in school, and it's a bit of a long road. So I'm trying to get into law school. So unfortunately, there's going to be like a gap in terms of being able to earn anything. But that's my plan, and I don't plan to make any money from teaching about God whatsoever. If someone wants to if someone happens to be really wealthy and they happen to want to share that, okay, great. But that's not what I'm counting on. you know. Um, so I'm just saying, if you realize that this is the truth, is this like equality aspect, then you would want to commit to this life that I'm laying out, right? Otherwise, you have some kind of corruption that's basically from the ego mind that you're not able to let go of. And as a result, not able to get very far and not get close to me. Because truth is like, you can't change truth. So you can't change the fact that God understands equality. And the reason you can't get close to me is in part because of the fact that you don't understand equality. So this has a direct relationship to someone's ability to awaken further on their journey, especially the spiritual teachers. So I'm saying, literally, if they don't understand what I'm saying, that they have to start letting go of their spiritual teaching career and look for something else, they're probably not going to get here. I don't think so, because they don't understand equality. So yeah, that's something I wanted to share a long time ago, but I couldn't because it just felt like, it was still too much and too controversial. But I feel like this is one of the things that's keeping people stuck. Um, this like not understanding about equality. Because I can't be like, who am I charging money to? You get what I'm saying? Like, and also like just to do this work, you have to expend time and energy to awaken. So I don't think it's fair to charge people money just for that reason alone. Um, but you know, a lot of spiritual teachers like to justify the fact that they should be charging money and making this like into a career. But if you really think about it, that can't be the truth in the long run because your followers, like, where are they getting the money from? Do they steal it? Or do they have to do some work and generate that money for you? Because it has to come from somewhere. Someone had to work for that money, right? So if you know what I'm saying, like, that can't be the truth. That you're just like relying on other people's work, for seemingly forever. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, like, in the short run, that perhaps you need some support that way. Uh, like, I'm okay with those exceptions, but I'm saying in the long run, you should commit yourself to, you know, however your followers are. Like, they're probably working, um, most of them, and I'm not talking about the outliers who just happen to have like a lot of money or not have very much at all. Like, I'm talking about like the average follower, right? Most likely they are working. So, you know, if you're someone who's trying to get to God, then you become an equal in the end. So, you know, truth cannot be just like leeching off of that. And if you really want to think in bigger numbers, like, let's say we have, I don't know, like a few hundred people, let's say, doing this. It definitely doesn't make sense to just have like a few people at the top that don't have to worry about, generating income and just leeching off of the rest. Like, this is like what a corrupt kleptocracy is like a corrupt government. I mean, I suppose people make excuses for that all the time, but I'm saying God is better than that. Like, God does not put himself like necessarily like above everyone. Not like over time. Like, if people are to reach here, you're my equal. And because of love, I wouldn't want someone to be working like a full time job. I just like do nothing and just sit around talk about God all day. Like, I mean, there's not that much to talk about after a certain point. So, that's also one measurement you can use to see how awake someone is like how much they're aware of this and doing something about it. Because it's especially like, I'm not that like inflexible. If someone's like really struggling, okay, maybe it makes sense for them to ask for money. I'm not inflexible about that. But if someone's like doing really well and they're still charging money, like, that doesn't make sense to me. It's like your followers are struggling way more than you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you have a teacher that basically is like a millionaire or something, like they basically made it, and they're still charging their poor followers lots of money to like go to their events or whatever. This is where this is like obviously not based in truth. So watch out for that, because a lot of people are not awake enough or aware enough to see what I'm trying to tell you.